our next guest speaker, Siam Kid. Level 10 for Siam Kid.
Thank you. Oh, I much prefer the very British. Yeah. Yeah, John Matonis, he's one of the originals. That was, I'm glad he came today. And he's very modest as well, because he used to actually email Satoshi Nakamoto. Not many people know that. So, yeah, it's interesting. Now, the Unlimited Success team and Rob have no idea what I'm about to talk about, which is interesting. Seeing as I only made the slides a day and a half ago. And I have to stress that what I'm about to share with you over the next 45 minutes are just my personal opinions, okay? And there may be a few slides which are very controversial. Is that okay? Yeah? Okay, cool. I'm so going to get told off. Right. I have a bit of an impossible task of forecasting what the world of cryptos will look like in 20 years. It's near on impossible, right? And there's a very good quote, I don't know who said it, but it said, forecast what may happen, but don't put a darn date on it, which is very true. So some of the stuff I may talk about may happen in 5 years or 50 years. But instead of just plucking stuff out of thin air, I basically had a chat with an old friend called Meg. Now, Meg is pretty mystic. And she's good at forecasting stuff. So she was like, you need to break it down. And once you know the bigger picture, you can have a better success rate with what you're going to talk about. So she's an eagle now, but I'm going to look at the 30,000-foot view of the whole landscape all the way down into the tiny minutiae. So starting off with a 30,000-foot view, network ruler cryptonomics. Now, that term doesn't really exist because I made it up. But it will make sense in a bit, because before we even think about what the crypto world will look like in 20 years, you really have to understand what the actual world will look like, and how the network rulers dictate everything. Now, you've heard me say this many, many times. Cryptos are the evolution of money, and DLTs, distributed ledger technologies, are the revolution of trust. Now, what the hell does that last bit actually mean? What does trust mean? And why is it so big? Like everyone, I think you can, even if you're not technically up to date, with everything, I'm pretty sure most of you could probably feel that cryptos or DLTs are a big thing. Like internet was a big thing, etc. But what does the trust bit actually mean? Now, humans as a species, we are the prime networked or networking species on the planet. Everything we do revolves around networking, and we've created all sorts of network bridges so we can help chat to our friends, our tribes, our communities, our countries, etc. From tin cans with strings, SMS, fax, email, phones, but not just communications, road networks, electricity networks, airways. They are all bridges of networks. Does that make sense? And so the thing is, cryptos has a superpower. And its superpower is disintermediation, believe it or not. It's streamlining and disintermediation and somewhat decentralizing. And it's all about the power landscape. So first of all, you have to understand that cryptos will disintermediate things, but who is it going to disintermediate? And now we have this growing wave of disintermediation. We have Uber, the world's biggest taxi company, doesn't own any taxis. Airbnb, biggest hotel company, et cetera, et cetera. And cryptos is effectively decentralizing banking or money. So that's just one use case out of potentially millions of different use cases in the future. Use cases we can't even imagine right now. So who has the power today? Now, in the past, what we found is that humans don't really do well in leaderless communities. So what happens is a leader emerges. And that's why for tens of thousands of years, we've had kings, lords, emperors, and now presidents. And it's them which are that rule the world, so to speak. Now, most people think it's like those who control countries, like Trump or Theresa May or whatever it is. But it's one level above that. It's those who control the networks. Okay, so it's not just whoever controls the biggest company or country. It's those that control the networks that people actually use and need. So money is a network. Religion is a network. Corporations, roads, infrastructure, electricity, search is a network. Google itself is a freaking huge network. We all use Google, whether we know it or not. Telecommunications, pharmaceuticals, stock market. So whoever the elite are, they're the top level. This is sort of one level down. These are the networks, and these are the people that really do move the world, okay? Does that sort of make sense? Yeah? Because the whole world needs that stuff. So whoever controls that controls us. And the Baron Mayer von Rothschild once said that I care not who is in power, but if you control the money supply, you control everything. I bastardized that quote. Words to that effect. So for 500 odd years ago, he established that if you control the money network, you control everything. So it's not Trump versus Putin versus Jinping. It's who controls the networks that everyone needs. And believe it or not, Trump, Putin, Jinping, they don't control all of the networks. And and so when you really start looking at the bigger picture, what are the two most important networks on the planet? Money and energy. We can't do anything without money or energy. And that is why they are the big daddies of the network rulers. Okay? So whoever controls the money network and the energy network controls the world. Now, I don't believe in the Illuminati or whatever. When I say elite, I don't know who they are, but it's the elite control the money and energy network. Now, it's most likely it's the same entity or the same people or organization. Because if you control the money network, you can buy anything and control everything else. So I think they are the same people. Okay. Again, remember, big Siam opinion hat on. This is just where I see things. Because you always, because we are here at the end of the day to, one, understand cryptos, blockchain, etc., but also how we can actually use this in our lives. Now, the use case for us is how do we profit from cryptos? Now, in order to be a successful or consistently profitable crypto investor, you do need to understand the bigger picture. And this is why, in the past, I've been able to call stuff which is contrary to common what's going around the internet. It's just because I can see what the bigger picture is. And so when you can sort of hypothesize what the elite may be doing or want to do, you can sort of ride with them. As I always say, they are the big great white shark, and I'm that tiny fish that swims under the belly or on the fin, etc. And that's what you guys need to be. Whoopsie. So, yeah. So this is the first controversial slide. I posted this picture on my personal Facebook page and on Twitter 3 years ago. And I've been trolled all over on the internet since, because I basically said, it won't be long before we start meddling in Syria. And it's nothing to do with chemical weapons. Just like weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, it's all bollocks. The three reasons: it's global strategic positioning, resources, and gas lines. Those two are sort of the same thing. So the only reason we're in Syria right now and starting a mini war, so to speak, if we can just keep that picture up, it's basically two major gas lines to see who can supply Europe with gas. That's it. You have the East. I say East, it's sort of Iran, Russia, Syria, China, etc. They have that red pipeline going through Iran, Iraq, and then Syria, and then it leads over. And then we have the Western pipeline, which obviously it's all about Syria, basically. So that is why we're there. And this is why I personally believe within 10, 15, 20 years, whatever date, I don't care, we'll also be going into North Korea. They are sat on $10 trillion worth of untapped rare earth minerals. That's huge. $10 trillion is a lot more than the stuff that we're fighting around over in the Middle East. And the thing is, with rare earth minerals, there are 17 of the rarest elements on the planet, and nothing electronic can work without these rare earth minerals. Well, they're sat on $10 trillion worth, untapped, not even mined. So that is the play. It will be Syria, then Iran, then North Korea. And it's going to be a shitstorm. I genuinely hope I'm incorrect here. And I would love for all of you just to troll me online in 10 years and say, you're wrong. And I'm like, thank fuck. Because, yeah, it's horrible. But, again, I always put myself in the boots that if I had no morals and I was the money network puppeteer, what would I want to be doing? Well, I would want to secure my control, right? This is what I would do if I had no morals, etc.